What's up, Cuzzy Wuzzies? You're listening to the Bay Ridge Boys, History Hyenas. Bad.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of History Hyenas with my life partner, Chrissy DiStefano.
And I'm happy for the first time on the podcast, we have one of my very good friends, Mike Cannon.
You have actually a friend here. This is actually, he's a friend of yours.
This is a true confidant and also a former pussy sober coach of Chrissy D on the road.
True friend of mine.
This is this is a person you don't pretend to like. This you actually like.
No,
this
Mike
kid.
Cannon's my friend, my real friend, and we both have warts on our dicks.
Yeah,
and
because
kids.
when it comes to pretending to like, because you are good at it.
Yeah.
Do you think so? I actually think he's horrible at it. I can read
like people.
I can read his face for disinterest, maybe better than anything.
But that's because you know him.
Yeah.
But the other people are so blinded by his goddamn good looks that they're just like, this kid loves me because he says yas a few times, or he's just like, he spins them around. Like he just spins people around. He's going, yeah, babe. He throws a couple babes.
Yeah.
And people are going like, he's fucking remembering
well,
me.
this whole industry is bullshit, so I mean, I just double down on the bullshit.
You want to know the physical tell of what yours is? So your lower jaw comes out when you're excited and happy about things.
Yeah.
You bite your bottom lip with your over when you're like kind of like just dealing with it.
Just dealing with this scumbag.
Yeah. I've seen that. I've seen a lot of people come up to you, comics especially, and being like, "Oh, Chris, how's everything going?" And like his eyes kind of just unfix. And then he'll bite his bottom lip, and you're just like, "Oh, he hates this person."
Yeah.
So wait, so you got your special coming out. Well, your special comes out
the 24th of January, so tomorrow. Well, if you're watching live.
You hear that? All algorithm, get ready.
Algorithm, get ready. What's it called?
Life Begins.
Life Begins. I'm wearing a Barstool sweatshirt, so Barstool Marketing retweet it. The episode with Mike Cannon's new special, which I had the privilege of hosting and bringing him to the stage, called Life Begins. And I told the crowd that be prepared to be molested by words.
You sure did. That made it to the cut, too.
I'm so happy that made it. Because once I said that, I was like, that was stupid.
But it was a very unique intro, though. Which was nice.
Well, the second one, he said I had full-blown Asperger's and then brought me on stage. That didn't necessarily
One of the greatest things I saw.
So I didn't know you were picking of the
two.
Yeah, the better of the bad ones.
Of the two. Yeah. It was one of the best things ever. It's Mike's big moment. It's got 2 shows sold out, ready to fucking go. And then his dad walks in, and he hadn't seen his dad in months.
Yeah.
Let me just paint the picture of Mr. Cannon. So, listen, I understand why Mike's got problems with it, but just as a spectator, I'm like, this guy rules. We're sitting at Mike Cannon's baby shower. We're sitting on Mike Cannon's baby shower last year by the pool, his house upstate, and we're sitting there, and his dad comes over with a plate of like pasta, cannolis, and like garbage on his plate.
Yeah.
Just think about Vince Vaughn in Old School when he just puts syrup all over the food. He does that, and he sits down and he goes, I just had a stroke. And he's got that plate of food, and I'm like, oh, man. And he goes, let me ask you a question. He goes, are you one of these liberal faggots like my son? And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, I don't know, you one of these liberal comedians? And I'm like, no, I was like, I don't know. I just don't really talk about politics. He goes, so you voting for Trump? I was like, I don't know. He goes, you better be voting for Trump. And then he just shovels pasta into his face, and he said again, he goes, I just had a stroke.
My dad is the classic demographic, somebody who squandered actual white privilege in the 70s and 80s, and now is just grasping at like loose leaves, trying to like, cushion his fall.
Let me ask you a question, because I don't think I ever asked, because, again, I was having a good time to be there, and I remember being nervous or fucked up in my head a little bit for you when I saw your dad walk in. Did you forget about it as soon as you went on stage, or you were like, fuck it, I'm just doing the jokes about him?
I was livid. I was lit because it's one of those things where I hadn't spoken to him since the baby shower.
What? How? 6
2 months before my son was born, I guess.
Yeah.
And the time before that, my sister and I actually had lunch with him, to try to like gauge his sanity, to see if he could actually kind of socialize in a normal situation. Yeah. And midway through the dinner at Han Dynasty, he started sweating, frothing from the mouth, and screaming about how Christine Blasey Ford is a lying whore. Apropos of nothing, like no political discussion, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just screaming at me and his oldest daughter, who is a woman, about how he knows women are like that and they're lying whores. And this one, it was written all over her whore face.
Yeah. I just
is this being recorded?
Yeah.
What's is there problems with the audio?
No, me and Mike, we're lovers, and we were mouthing things to each other. We got caught.
We got caught up. Yeah. Dude, I met Mike Cannon. I met the great Mike Cannon my second or third week of doing comedy. I remember we were doing an open mic at what was the place in Harlem? Mocha Lounge in Harlem. And I forgot what happened, but I know you abruptly walked out. Do you remember that?
I remember what happened.
What happened?
When Mike Cannon had black hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now
I mean, he went from black to gray like that.
Yeah, well, that's what's called being in entertainment.
Yeah, when you're in this business, you age like a president.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're a white male in this, especially these last couple of years.
Oh yeah, we're getting hammered. I don't care.
Dude,
yeah, you're gonna get stressed out.
I am a classic Mick avocado, just completely disrupted.
So what happened?
Wilting. So what happened was the reason why we became friends is because at that time in like 2009, every
both your parents vote for Trump.
Yeah, it's what it is. And guess what? They picked right.
Yeah. They know how to pick a winner. That's for sure.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Say what you want. But.
So he did. He was victorious.
The kid did win.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was a racehorse, I'd put my money on him.
Yeah.
Oh, again too.
Yeah. Get ready for another 4 more years.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Can't wait.
At least it's gonna be good comedy.
Bart Scott voice. Can't wait.
The only thing I loathe about that is we got to deal with 4 more years of wokeness to come back. And it's I've had enough of that.
4 more years of these fucking woke comedy specials that are TED Talks. I mean, they're nighttime stories.
Yeah, I would love to have him beat just so like if someone tries to do a woke special, you're going like, what do you want, guy? You got your guy in office. Can I at least say some bad words now?
I hate watched a particular Amazon special recently. I won't name it by name with my son, and he was getting actually a kick out of how furious I was getting.
Yeah.
Because it was truly just cheerleading and nonsense, and it wasn't even doing well in the room.
No,
that's the craziest thing is being paid $1 million to bomb.
They're bombing their own specials now.
Yeah,
it's like and listen, I have special out. I'm proud of it because at least I attempt. Whether you think it's funny or not, we're attempting to do jokes. I'm attempting to do comedy. It's up to you if you want. These people are not even attempting. They're just like climate change and fuck Trump. And it's like, as a comedian, the most skin-crawling, disgusting thing that could happen for me, personally, is if you clap at a statement I made that didn't have a joke. And
I have no interest in that.
These comedians come out, and that's all they do is get claps on political statements. It's like, that's the opposite of what I think you should be doing as a comedian.
Not to mention the wild level of appropriation to come out to a hip hop song, twerk for about 11 minutes, and then also
now you're getting very specific. Yeah.
But not
only, you better start talking a little more friendly about your dad because that just became your fan base.
Yeah.
Because you just canceled out one whole side of the fan base.
Well, isn't that brutal? Is like if you actually point out some hypocrisy on one side or the other, then you're all of a sudden a militant lefty or a militant righty. It's like, no, actually, I'm kind of in the gray area of where, of truth, I guess.
But the most tolerable people in this society are gray area people. I mean, anybody. But I also believe that how many times have you actually met in person a for real person who's militant right or militant left? It's minority of people.
His dad, apparently.
It's minority
aside from my immediate family.
They did Ari Tiemann or whatever.
Yeah,
who's
it's
militant
very rare.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you got, militant left, who's like a militant left person that's like very known. Like
Eliza Glazer.
Alana Glazer. Yeah.
Ilana Glazer.
We'll call her that from now on.
Why not?
Yeah. So it's like, they're few and far between.
But
most
not to
people
mention,
are gray area people.
I think what bothers me the most is
I'm kidding. I don't know what her politics are.
Seeing that. Like I don't understand how a certain sect of white women, I won't dare say all, but a certain sect of white women have gotten away with protesting and co-opting the Black Power fist.
Sure.
That to me seems like a real weird move that not a lot of people are pointing out.
Yeah.
You got Emily Ratajkowski fucking literally raising her dumb hot fist looking like a gorgeous ostrich and just like claiming how she's more than just lips. It's like, lady, get the fuck out of here.
You're doing the Black Power son. What are you doing? Yeah. No, I know. Well, we were talking about this earlier today. It's all conditioned thinking. It's all marketing. It's all like, whatever you want to, it's all, it feels like we're a country of just followers now. Nobody's a leader anymore.
And it works. Like I'm an idiot for bashing it because it clearly is effective.
Right.
And it's also, I think it's part of this bigger picture that is very ironic that how technology has enabled like us to return to what we originally were, which is really ironic because it's like now we were talking about before the live performance is like the unique thing. That's like being on TV used to be. You know, podcasts are basically radio. So now radio's back in a big way.
Right.
And also now as technology has progressed to the heights it has, the unprecedented heights it has, politics has gotten more tribal again. We've become tribal.
You know what's coming back next? Blackface.
It's crazy though, isn't it? When you think about it, they're like, what's popular now is like tribes doing radio, performing live in theaters.
Yeah.
It's like we're back to ancient Greece.
Well, I noticed even with stand-up, remember 5 years ago, if you did something on, let's say, your Comedy Central special or HBO special, you'd be like, I can't do that. I can't do those jokes when they see me live. I got to come up with a whole new hour. Now, somebody sees you, a kid sees you do something on Instagram, a 1-minute clip.
Right.
They want you to do it in person because they watch it on the internet is one thing, but now they want to watch you in person.
Yeah.
I've had people say, hey, how come you don't do that Puerto Rican stuff about your NFL referee, which is a bit I put out on my Instagram where I talk about my kid's mom being like an NFL referee because she watches everything I do. And I've went to certain markets and they're like, do that. We're here because you did that. We want you to do it in person. Where 5 years ago, if you do that, we heard that already. Because as to Giannis's point, the live experience is a new thing now.
Well, people probably want you to recreate your drunk 9/11 story.
Oh yeah. That we were at our live podcast at the Gramercy Theater, and they're like, do the 9/11 story, and I was like, what?
Give me a bottle of White Zin. Let's figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, it's like it only worked because it was on 9/11, and I followed a Muslim comedian. And I told him to fucking put his hummus down.
And you were coming straight from a blowy.
I was coming straight off a blowy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
From a dude.
Yeah.
That's why your shoulders were all relaxed.
But it makes me really, really suspect that maybe this is a simulation to think how like the farther you go, the more you come back to the other side.
Interesting.
It's like it's a limited. It's finite, like the universe, which is kind of like supposedly stretching. But then when they try to see mathematically, the farthest point brings you right back to you. You're going like, this is
that true? What do you mean by that?
The alpha and the omega are the same spot in the universe. So it's like the farthest you can travel in the universe is back to where you are.
Yeah. What? And also the fact that there are potentially infinite amount of multiverses. There is, of course, like if there's infinite, then there's another multiverse where this is exactly happening.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like if you traveled the farthest from this point, right now, you would end up the farthest point from this point
is this point.
So that's wild.
And
it also makes you think like, hey, it's constructed. It's like it's in something. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's finite. So it's like anything that's finite is constructed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what's also weird about entertainment is it's at the point where like you're not allowed to really be fictional anymore. Like you can't have an idea of how a certain group of people react or behave and write about it and kind of like just assume or put your life experience onto another family. You almost have to be autobiographical because it's only acceptable to speak about your particular experience.
Well, that's because everything else that speaks to what we're talking about. You're right, because like, almost everything else has been done. So now it's the genuineness. Yeah. The genuineness is the only way you could be original now, is just like, hey, this is my specific story.
Yeah.
Because every type of joke's been told.
Yeah.
I put out some Bernie Sanders joke, like when I was releasing my special. And
about how he was like a math teacher?
Yeah, whatever my joke was. And then like 15 like open mic level comics, and I only say that because I didn't know who they are.
Right.
So I'm not trying to be offensive, but it's like we're comics, so we kind of know if you're a working comic. I don't know who these people are. Then I go to their YouTube account, like I look at their pages. They got thousands of followers, and it's just tons of stand-up clips. And they go, a few of them were like, "Hey, I got a Bernie Sanders clip too." It's like, yeah. It's a different joke, but like we're all talking about Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And now it used to be like there was like 4 or 5 guys who you may see on a TV talking about Bernie Sanders.
Right.
Now you could just Google in a search Bernie Sanders comedy, and there'll be like 300,000 comedians that will come up with a Bernie Sanders joke because everyone's just putting their shitty show online.
Yeah.
I'll see like comedians now just putting like the worst moments of their show in a clip that's subtitled.
Yeah.
And you're going like, what are we doing?
They're
now?
bombing. Yeah.
What are we fucking doing?
Dude, yeah. It's funny because that's why it's hard to do topical unless you're on the top of the mountain.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Unless you're Tonight Show or Rogan.
Because if you get to it first and you're at that level, then it's your joke, right? But if you're in the mud, if you're working out the, in the thick of shit, then there's 100 other people doing a topical bit about the same thing. They might even have a different take, but you're all swimming in the same pond.
Yeah. Right. Understood. Yeah. I know. I feel like, that's why I think like with podcasting, it's like to try. Go ahead. Nice.
Oh yeah. God.
That was just a That was
his fart. No, his farts come from a place where like I'm a little concerned for his long-term health.
That sounded bad.
No, the way they smell, it's
right?
like because he's got shit stuck in his colon. He doesn't ever get. He told me once he had diarrhea for 2 years. Do you think that's a problem?
For 5 years, I think.
No, I've had diarrhea for about a decade. Like it just started solidifying because I haven't drank in over a year. But when I was boozing, I was
sober.
Straight geysering shit out of my ass.
Yeah, congrats on.
Also, this is not my first time on the program. This is my second time.
Yeah.
The last time I was on this thing, we talked about your asshole for 20
Yeah,
minutes.
I mean, that's always a risk when you come on History Hyenas that we could end up talking about Chrissy's asshole for a good 10, 15.
Well, and that was fresh off the blood.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when I was shitting blood.
That's when you were shitting
Oh,
blood.
when I just got the colonoscopy. Shout out Dr. Nick.
But it didn't even look like blood. It just looked like a glazed red shit.
Yeah, I know. And then I got a fucking colonoscopy, and they said it was all good. Yeah, remember we've had some wild moments on this podcast.
We've had a lot of moments that entail your medical conditions.
Yeah,
coming out of all of your orifices.
Yeah, I get, I'm not lying to you, weekly messages from people who say, hey, I have the same thing as you, and then tell me their whole medical diagnosis, and then I respond to them on what I think it is, which is illegal. Yeah. So
even especially with you, because you have a doctorate.
Yeah, but I have a doctorate in physical therapy. I mean, me dolling out medical, I'll always put a disclaimer, but I'm just like, hey, this is what I think it is. But also then I'll just send the Google page of what I just Googled.
You're like Dr. Nick from The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah. I know, man. But,
you're doctor enough for me.
Yeah.
And all I need is somebody who has enough training that makes me feel better, like when I tell them a symptom. That's right. Just lie to your friend. Be like, hey, I got this problem. You just be like, it sounds good. And then I'll just feel like it's good because you have some training.
Well, it's weird. It's come full circle for me now because let's say before the baby was born, I would, if anything happened because I have this medical knowledge, I'd be like, oh my God, it's going to be this, going to be that. Right. Now it's like literally for like 2 weeks, every time I blow my nose, it's like brown blood. And I'm just like, it'll go away. It's a sinus infection. I could be literally blowing pieces of my brain fluid out. And I'm like, I'm not nervous. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I've been sweating a lot in my sleep. And I just had mentioned that casually in a conversation. And somebody was like, that's like heart problems.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we'll worry about that when it comes to a front.
Sweating in the sleep. Here's the things to worry about. Sweating in the sleep, being white. No, sweating in your sleep. Pain. It's so bizarre because it's like sweating in your sleep, waking up out of a dead sleep with pain in a certain part of your body, or taking Advil or any type of ibuprofen. NSAID, like pain reliever medicine, and it giving you immediate relief, and then 4 to 6 hours later, the pain coming back is another sign. So Advil doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, that last one was like, you're fucking gonna make everyone paranoid.
But I'm telling you, it's what these things are. You know? It's like that's the truth.
Can I ask you this?
Yes.
What does it mean if I have shooting pain through my nose?
I mean, stop doing cocaine.
I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, I have not put anything up my nose
sinus
in a while.
issues. Do you have boogers, and are you blowing snot out and doing stuff like that?
No, not really. I think we're from the complete opposite side of the health spectrum. Is like, since I've known you, you've been a paranoid, maniac about your health. You've always asked me questions as if I have any medical background.
Yeah.
I am the type of Irish where if anything hurts, I just shove it down.
Good boy.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Yeah. And I won't do anything about it until one of my ventricles shoots out of my chest.
I love the Irish.
Oh, boy.
The Irish, they excite me.
Yeah.
Because you guys, I love the Irish. Because you guys, there's nobody who knows how to just jam it into a little box.
Yeah.
You guys got a little Irish box of secrets where all the molestation, all the pain, all the gay thoughts go.
But then he's got like a wild part of his family. Doesn't one of your sisters just like bathe in the river? No.
But actually, kinda. My younger sister Chloe lives upstate near New Paltz, and she's kind of like a flower child.
Yeah, she just wears bear skins and like just lives like it's ancient times.
Yeah, she's one with the wokes. Yeah, like she has a lot of they friends.
Oh yeah. Really? She has a lot of they.
Sure. One of them named Onion.
Interesting. That's their full legal name.
Cool person.
Name is Onion.
Yeah, it's just it's tough to navigate that, but I like the fact that I have a sister that is very comfortable in those waters because I can kind of take a bit to her and just be like, listen, I know this is wrong, but like, am I kind of at least skiing the slalom?
She goes, wait. Let me feel the vibration of it.
Yeah.
Tell it again.
She puts a crystal in the middle of our forehead.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's that one. It's that one. It's
Dude.
that one with the
I know. And now, and your dad, Hyenas, is fucking dropping batches in. We're all trying to be dads here. We're all fucking fucking dads.
Mine was an accident. Was it? A one time drop, and it happened. I mean, I told you it was right before I left for the Middle East.
Oh yeah,
to perform for the troops.
Right.
And I was just like, I was stealing valor for that entire week. I was just pretending to be a war hero, telling my wife what a hero I was for even going over there.
Right.
And the night before, we had sex, and I literally came while saying I'm deploying as a goof, just being like, I left it in for the first time. And then the day I came back, she wasn't there. I got high, and because I hadn't smoked in 2 weeks, and I'm on Jupiter because my tolerance is now back down to human.
Right.
And then she comes in and she's like, hi, I feel weird. I think I should take a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is an odd way to be greeted. She went in the bathroom, pissed on it, got in the shower. I'm now, wrestling with my entire future as a human being.
Yeah.
And she goes, okay, check it. I checked it. It was like carved in full. Like, it wasn't just red. It was carved with a knife.
Yeah.
A plus. And I was like, what the fuck? I was yeah, we're pregnant. This is great. She's like, you're not mad? I was like, Jesus Christ, you are Italian the way you winced.
Yeah.
She was just like covered. She thought she was going to get punched directly in the stomach.
Are you not mad? Am I going to get disciplined for what I did?
She lifted her knee.
This is 3 strikes in a row. I mean, the garlic wasn't thin enough yesterday. I forgot to give you your slippers Tuesday. Yeah. And now I'm pregnant. I'm sorry.
And I know you're mad because Jeter didn't get 100% of the Hall of Fame vote.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Daddy, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm wearing a Barstool sweatshirt. Retweet it.
Yeah,
Like,
retweet
special.
that.
But
Life begins.
Life begins out on YouTube. Mike Cannon comedy. So and then I said, I was like, no, this is great. Like we're having a kid. Of course, my heart is pounding out of my chest and I'm super nervous. And she's like, okay, good, because I took 3 pregnancy tests yesterday and they were all so positive.
Oh, so she knew.
Like what the fuck? Yeah, she's just been carrying that
could
burden.
you imagine too, like how fucking poetic would it have been? Like you get her glued up. It's been your girl since you're 13 years old, and then you just die in a helicopter accident in the Middle East.
If I got hit by a Scud missile, I would have hoped you would have stepped in and married her. And
I would have. No, your kid's just raised by Mike Feeney, who's just bragging about his fucking TikTok views. It was like, shut up. During the McGregor fight, he's like, I went viral on TikTok. I'm like, shut up. You stink. You look like a chopstick.
You've been dating.
But then I immediately put out videos on my TikTok.
Of course,
yeah,
same here.
I'm fucking cooking with gas on my TikTok.
Can't wait, kid. Oh, scrolling through TikTok is a real minefield.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's when you're going like, wow, I got nothing in common with these kids.
No, I got to post and get the fuck off this app immediately.
I don't know how to make a music video about me sweeping the floor.
No.
Yeah, these kids are like, here, and they're just like sweeping. You go,
well, that's the thing is like you almost you're like, oh, this is such a terrible thing for the youth, and they're clearly like reaching out for some sort of affection or affirmation that they're not receiving at home. But then you actually watch it and you're like, this is like the most creative thing I've ever seen. Yeah. I mean, nothing. I used to, my creativity as a kid was covering my textbooks with a paper bag and then drawing on it.
Yeah.
Like, and that S with the 6 lines or whatever, that was my big art piece.
It basically, you can be your own music. You can be your own music director. You're making a music video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
everybody's Spike Jones.
Everyone's Spike Jones. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I was saying you've been dating your wife so long since you were 13 that
10
years old.
10 years old, which is how old Giannis's wife was when he met her.
That's how old she was.
That's how much older Giannis is than his wife.
Well, you got to groom.
Yeah.
You know it. Yeah.
I know. I was like talking to this girl. She not talking to this girl. I was like, I saw this girl on Instagram and she's like smoking hot and she's 19. And I was like, you think that's too young? And Giannis was like, no. He's like, in Greek, it's okay in Greek.
I mean, isn't that like kind of seeing Zion at 14 and just going to be like, this kid's going to be good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Well, that's what I was saying. Like you guys have been together so long and you were together so young that you do not want to ever be in a situation where you're talking about your wife and somebody comes mid conversation.
Yeah.
And here's you just go like, man, so we were 13 and I was finger blasting my wife. He's going, what? Yeah. Like, no. We've been together. She was 13, but so was I.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I try to make that bit work and it never does, but there is I'm on the road, so masturbation is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I will often, if the computer isn't working or if I want to exercise my imagination, I'll jerk off to the memory of her 15-year-old vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even feel comfortable hearing that.
I love it.
Jesus. Yeah.
I mean,
but you were 15 too.
It was my 15-year-old dick. I'm not substituting my now 34-year-old
right.
dick.
Did you guys lose your virginity to each other?
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Nah,
But she went off and banged a whole bunch of other guys.
She sure did. Yeah. She dipped in the dark waters as well, and she came back.
Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah.
Now it's back.
Yeah, your guys' relationship was like a bungee cord. Like you just jumped off, grabbed a bunch of dicks and vaginas on the way down, and then came back right to each other.
That would be fucking so funny to come like full circle. Is like you like are with Nicole, whatever, and then like I've been in your life, and then it comes full circle where I marry Nicole's dad. Like he comes out of the closet at the same time I do.
Yeah, I could see
you find your love for each other through your love for Trump.
Yeah.
Honestly, I bet he's
You're talking about Trump, and then your eyes just slowly turn around every now and then I get it. While you're just talking about how he's done great things for this country.
Yeah.
You're just going like this: lowest black unemployment. Okay, we finally got the wall.
Yeah.
Salami's dead. You don't even know how to pronounce it. You call him salami.
Honored the contract of the people of Iraq.
You know how many times that general's been called salami in Ridgewood, Queens?
Oh yeah, and
finally we got salami.
He called the Saudi Arabian murder journalist Kellogg's.
Kellogg's, fuck Kellogg's.
I mean, who's gonna beat him? Crazy Joe, Pocahontas? No chance.
No chance.
Maybe we should suck each other's dicks.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. The thing is with I love being friends with Mike, but
I thought you were going to say I love being white. It's always a risk.
That too. Yeah.
One of the things I love, first of all, I just love being white.
Yeah, but Mike's got one of those friend groups. I grew up in high school. Like everybody's dead. Like people just driving off cliffs, dying of random diseases, killing each other.
Dude, cancer is big in Rockland County.
Yeah, it really is.
They always brag about not having fluoride in the water, but at this point, you might want to try it because a few 23-year-olds are just dropping.
Yeah, I know. So it's like nerve wracking to always be like, oh yeah, Mike's just going to another one of his fucking friends' funerals. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. New York is such a big city.
Yeah.
That like to think you're from Rockland County. For me, being from Park Slope, Brooklyn, him being from Ridgewood, Queens, let alone you, Rockland County.
Yeah.
Rockland County to me, like I'm like, wow, we grew up in different countries.
No, but like the people that grew up, like they got how you went. Your parents went to the city every day. So did it. So did all the parents.
I know.
Yeah, but Rockland is a weird place because it's kind of insulated, where it's 19 miles outside of New York City. Right. It's an easy trek. A lot of our parents worked in the city, and every single day. My father was a stockbroker, of course. Lack of empathy, and so the entire town really prides themselves on their proximity to the city, but they won't go there for other reasons for work. Like my buddy Anthony, who who is like the ultimate WAP, like he is tattooed,
like Donkey Kong Guido,
has tanned himself Dominican. Yeah. He's like he wears like $30,000 watches.
He calls what you do skits.
Yeah, of course,
for sure.
Of course he does. He used to be an iron worker until he got hit by a piece of equipment. Now he's a millionaire.
Yeah,
he'll like walk around
those guys. Yeah,
he'll walk around the West Village.
I'm sure it happened by accident.
Of course. Nobody kicked it off the second floor.
He'll be like, "Did you hear this guy? I like your skit, Mikey. You're doing good. You've improved a lot since I started. Because when I first saw you, you fucking sucked.
It was embarrassing.
But have you seen this one guy? Rodeo comedy. This kid's skit.
Oh, Rodeo. No.
Yeah, that kid, Mikey.
The kid Anthony would be like, nah. You know who's the fucking best? Is that Shane Gillis kid?
Shane fucking Gillis. Yeah. I mean, I love that fucking kid. I live rodeo comedy. That kid's fucking. He does his Italian grandma, his Italian sister, his Italian dog.
Yeah,
everyone's fucking Italian.
More skits like that.
Yeah. Yo, you ever work with Sebastian Maniscalco? Because that fucking kid skits.
How did that guy do it?
I mean, that kid's fucking skits are hilarious.
That's how you know, like, comedy is so disrespected, is people's favorite comedians. They don't know their name.
They don't know their name.
Yeah, they'll just be like, Sebas Manny's.
Yeah.
You'll just be like, yeah, that's close enough, man. Like, I guess autofill would correct it.
So what do you mean, though? Rockland County, it's still insulated, though?
Yeah, I mean, they're all Make America Great Again for the most part. Like, it's a big, I think it's the only county in New York that voted conservative during, like Bush against Gore or whatever.
Really? They voted conservative.
So Staten Island probably too.
Maybe too, yeah. But my buddy Anthony, he walks around in the West Village like with his big watch and his gaudy attire, and he looks great. And he'll have like a knife in his hand. He's like, that's in case anybody tries something. I'm like, you're on McDougal.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Somebody might try to suck your dick, but you're not going to get robbed.
Yeah. It's like that illusion. Hyenas, we were talking about this last night, how like that New York City, like you ever see a dead body? That's like 80s, 90s New York, but people still live that where it's like, that doesn't happen anymore.
No, but people that are in charge will still try to like fearmonger like that.
Sure,
like,
of course.
Remember, what was it? Bratton, that was the ex fucking NYPD
commissioner.
Yeah. He was saying that the weed trade was a bloodier endeavor than the heroin and crack epidemic of the 80s. And it's like, buddy, I'm not slipping on blood smears. Right. It's not. You're lying. And other people from Rockland are like, dude, I hear weed is wild out there. It's like, people are shooting each other in the streets. No,
it's not fucking happening.
I mean, that they were able to malign weed for as long as they did is kind of amazing.
Remember we used to do the show out of that building, the Hearst building or something like that? And
the Cosmos Sexy versus Skanky.
Fuck yeah, dude. Your co-host was hot and I blew it with her. Yeah.
Well, you had
out there.
You had a different place to be uptown that Mike was trying to convince you not to go to.
Yeah, that was wild.
The long walk.
Don't do it, man.
On the way to a hippopotamus's doorman.
Do you remember
building.
that?
Yeah.
I remember I made you wait in the lobby. That's when I was full-blown sex addict. I had sex. I was going religiously to have sex with a woman who looked like, what did she look like?
A human potato.
Like she looked
with
like,
all the knots.
She honestly looked like John Candy. That's what she looked like.
John Candes, because she was Hispanic.
And
she looked like Ali Wong if Ali Wong was Mike.
Yeah.
If Ali Wong drowned.
If Ali Wong somehow became Mike Suarez, that's her.
Holy shit, she looks like Mike.
Like,
holy shit.
Yeah, she looks like Mike with the wig on from.
Yes.
Yeah. So transgender you.
When he tells that story, I just picture you like Beavis, like walking up like,
remember we walked from Caroline's to her apartment, which was like by the Lincoln Center, somewhere in that area. And I mean, I'm talking about every block. Mike was like, dude, you don't have to do this. Like, you love yourself. Like, why are you doing this? I was like, Mike, just shut up. You got to come with me. You got to. And I was like dry heaving, even thinking about having sex with him. But I went up there and did it. And he sat down in the lobby, and I was up and back in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. You popped off quick.
And then I was just like depressed. It was like drugs. Like, do you remember like you trying to talk me out of it?
Well, because I think like cocaine, the going to get it is the most exciting part, and it's the best part of the drug. And then once you're done, it's like the Molly come down where you're suicidal. Right. All of your endorphins have flooded your body, and now your like your avatar is bereft of joy.
Yeah. Jesse, my buddy Jesse Scatura used to tell me what he did blow. It's funny. He said it's exactly what that is. Like when someone brought it up, like you want to get the hoo-ha?
Oh,
he would like. He's almost like you feel like club music in your head, like and
because the whole night is an option. So now you have the thing where you're like, ladies love coke. We can do anything. Like I'm going to be doing coke off of some chick's asshole. It's going to be fucking great. And then you realize you're going to be playing GoldenEye at 4 a.m. with your buddy, not blinking for 6 hours.
Yeah, no, it's blinking for 6 hours. I know. I just remember, man.
The fantasy's always better than the reality.
And it's so weird. Do you find yourself doing this? I like find myself reminiscing about those times, like 2010, 2011, when we were just doing open mics. We were doing, we fucking were going on last at Caroline's or Broadway or whatever it was. And it's like, we weren't making any money. Yeah. We didn't have specials. We didn't have any of this shit. But it's like, I find myself thinking about those times. Do you? Or not really?
Sometimes. But I mean, your younger years must have been cute because you took off pretty quick. So I've been fighting in the mud for a while. And things have progressed, obviously, steadily. But I never had that leap. Like you had Guy Code and it was like 100,000 followers immediately. Immediately. So that I could see how like those might be the good old days for you. But when I think about them, I think of the smell and ambiance of Broadway Comedy Club and a waitress telling me, if you bomb doing checks, you're a shit comic. And I'm like, beat it, lady. You're a career loser. Go fucking jump into 8th Avenue.
Do you go to Broadway Comedy Club at all anymore?
Every once in a while.
No, but I
was looking back at old emails from
Buddy, I got when this kid, so this is how we both got banned from Broadway Comedy Club because Chris was managed by them, whatever that means. I think they got
managed by Broadway Comedy Club?
Yeah.
Who there? Who's that?
A guy who looked at his toes a lot when Chris slept over.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's a great guy. We probably should we blur his name? He's the type that would sue.
Yeah, you have
Maybe.
to.
I mean, but it's true.
No, but you got to get rid of the name.
Mike, when I just drop the name, but over my mouth, put the rainbow flags.
Yeah.
In the edit. Okay? Promise? All right, great.
Dude, so Chris was managed by them. I assume that meant you got like an episode of Street Court like I did.
Seriously. Yeah, that's what it was.
And so then you got Guy Code or whatever, then you had a meeting with Dennis Leary's company, Apostle, and you justifiably left Broadway Comedy Club for a mainstream.
Go with Conan Smith, who was Ray Romano's agent.
And my agent now.
And your agent now, yeah.
So he's fallen off a bit.
What?
Yeah. So Chris left, and then you were headlining Caroline's for the first time. I was opening. Chris is obviously technologically retarded, so I created a Facebook invite to him or for him, and I got banned because of that. He wrote like a 3-page long email to me about why I was banned, and it read like a middle school breakup letter about Chris.
Yeah, it was weird.
All the things he did for Chris. Got him headshots. He let him sleep on his couch, which Chris told me there was several nights where he saw him just like lurking over.
We would do the prom shows, and I would sleep. I was still working as a physical therapist, and there was times I just woke up. He was just like breathing with his bathrobe on him. Like,
The old Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to manage comedians, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
There's something off. There's something missing, I think, even worse in a person who wants to manage comedians than people who want to do comedy.
Right.
Especially since a lot of managers are former comedians who tried it. You're like,
they always are.
Yeah, everybody's got a hole in their chest.
Well, it's kind of like looking at a rape victim and being like, I can make money off of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just kidding.
Dude, what's the history that you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah.
Because he said it fucking. What do you want to talk about? The Newsies?
The newsboy strike of 1899. Yeah. I mean,
what happened?
I think you and we've been calling each other true blue gays for a long time. Because I mean, we've been sleeping in the same hotel rooms even when they offered to.
Yeah. Wait a second. You slept both eyes closed with this kid?
Oh yeah, but not in the same bed. I don't know if we shared. We shared bed once.
Did you ever wake up?
Where do we share a bed? Cincinnati?
We shared a bed in a place that we did not have to, and I had a place to stay. And we watched. I think we watched Wedding Crashers on your iPhone 3.
Yeah, why did we do that?
I don't know why.
Because you were trying to have a date with him, unbeknownst to him.
I was trying. Yeah,
you were trying to make it a date.
Yeah,
you didn't know at that point that that's how he gets going.
Yeah.
He gets going with basically all the relationship parts of the guy, and then he goes and he bangs a girl to just wash it away. He's trying to wash away who he really is, but like, I'm just gonna get some pussy and I'll change it.
That's his sexual douche.
Yeah, I enjoyed that way too much here. This will fix it. Yeah.
Oh, and one thing I know, I got to know about Chris is like you get comfortable real quick because as soon as we'd walk into a hotel room, you were in an ill-fitting white beater and loose boxers.
Yeah, right away. Like you've seen my dick a lot,
and if not in person, digitally, just as much.
Sending you dick pics.
You just send it to people.
I just throw it out there.
I mean, before I even really knew you, for some reason, I got a video of it
of me getting my.
We weren't even really friends yet. Yeah,
she was sucking my softie.
Yeah, it was sucking your softie, and I was going like, why am I watching? Why did I get this?
I don't know why I sent it.
Yeah. I mean, some of the POVs are pretty cool. I've seen a couple of the old POVs with people that we both we had we knew.
Did you ever fall asleep and wake up and he was standing up over you?
No,
that happened to me once.
Did it?
So I don't know what that means.
Oh no!
And he was doing like a thing. He was like having a panic attack or something. Yeah. What was going on? You were having a panic attack?
I forgot. But I remember he
But
came.
you just smelled my feet, though, didn't you?
I smelled his feet.
Yeah.
But it was funny. I remember he came with me to Magooby's Comedy Club, and we were driving down there. He's like, I got no spots this weekend. It's fine. And then he had like 7 spots.
Yeah, I just forgot about the amount of spots I had.
Yeah, it's just
So they were going, where are you?
Sometimes you get wrapped up in friendship.
Yeah, it was just like we were having fun, and I remember it was a split moment decision. He was like, "Yo, you want to come with me to both to Magooby's?" And I was like, it was just one of those things where you're going like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So we just went.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened in the Newsies strike?
So the newsboy strike, the reason why I have interest in this is because I am, to the core, a true blue gay. I am a boy who used to sing for show tunes for company.
Yeah.
When like my parents would have, social gatherings or anything like that, which were always uncomfortable because nobody was allowed to drink because my father was a hair trigger alcoholic. So my sisters and I would be the entertainment. They mostly because they're both musical prodigies.
Right.
But I was obsessed with the movie Newsies with Christian Bale, with just what it represented, singing, because it's a bunch of boys, like real boys out there singing and
nothing better than a hot boy.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
So what happened so William Randolph Hearst and Joseph Pulitzer, which were the two kingpins of the news media world at the time, decided they needed to make more money because what they, their mansions felt a bit cramped at the time. So instead of raising the price out on the streets and risking losing their business, they instead gouged the fucking boys who were selling their papers for them. Right. So instead of paying 50 cents, basically all these kids were selling the paper for a half-cent profit per paper. Jesus. Once they were making the 50 cents, or once they were paying 50 cents per 100. So once they gouged it to 60 cents, they were making even less than a half-cent per paper, and so they started striking, and they were really fucking violent about it. This in 1899, it wasn't even the first strike either. They had I think the one closest to that was 94 or 84, maybe 1894, yeah. And they had a couple in quick succession about different kind of rules against different type of papers, and so now during this time, whenever they would see somebody who was selling those two particular papers, they would beat the fuck out of them.
A little different than the musical.
Yeah.
They didn't show that part as much.
They kind of did, but they did it while they were tap dancing and soft shoeing.
Yeah. So it was like the West Side Story of the Newsy strike, where you're going did they really dance with those Puerto Ricans, or were a few of them pummeled with stuff?
Yeah. Well, the funniest part is it was such a big deal to get Brooklyn involved because Brooklyn, at the time was a different country. Yeah. Right. It was, nobody left Brooklyn. They all stayed there. They sold their own papers. They had their own kind of infrastructure on how they went about their business. But once Brooklyn got involved into the strike, then it became a real thing because people were like, wait, they crossed a bridge to get here. That's huge.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. I always think about with for some reason, anytime Christian Bale is mentioned, I always just think about that video that he did where he was berating and yelling at that cameraman. And it's just now, especially in 2020, where it's could you imagine somebody did that to you now?
Yeah.
I would punch him right in the face.
I agree with what he did, though.
You like that?
I mean, I don't like it. I'm not for it. I don't like, demeaning people and screaming at them in a professional environment. But if you're doing a $100 million movie and you're as intense of an actor as Christian Bale is, who's method even when playing shithead John Connor, and you got some shit dick in the corner fucking adjusting a light while you're on the 17th take of a scene and you're trying to harness emotion,
it might happen. Yeah.
It could pop off.
Yeah. But if that happens, I feel like the lighting guy has a right to punch him in the face and not lose his job.
I don't think
he can't. But I mean, he's going to lose his job because the investment's in Christian Bale, not in the lighting guy.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? But which is interesting though, because it's the more important part is the lighting guy.
No, it's not. I can tell where you grew up.
Yeah.
Listen, all right? Those are my fucking friends. You talking to my fucking friends that way?
But I'm just saying anybody can act. Not everyone knows how to fucking hang lights. You know what I mean?
Maybe so. But not everybody can carry a movie. So it takes that's why, when you're why aren't there more representation from so-and-so? Why isn't a real cripple playing fucking, Walter White's part in that stupid Kevin Hart movie? Right. It's because what, an unfunctioning legless person has the reach that he had.
Right.
You know what I mean? Are they going to sell as many tickets?
I know.
Because that's what it comes down to.
When I saw that movie, Exodus, it was called Exodus, Gods and Kings. It was about the story of Moses, and it was so much shit about Christian Bale playing Moses. And I read this article about the investors of the movie who were from the Middle East were we picked Christian Bale because he sells tickets. Yeah. So we don't care. We don't want a Middle Eastern guy.
No, they made him Middle Eastern with mascara. That's fine.
All it takes.
They put a little line, to the side, and he looked like a sarcophagus.
That's it. They they just made him that. Yeah.
I mean, Anthony Quinn played Zorba the Greek. I mean, he's a Mexican kid, but he was a big star. It's there's no, Christoforos Papadopoulos wasn't going to probably sell the movie like Anthony Quinn.
Yeah.
So it's it goes a bunch of different ways.
Right.
Yeah. And it's nobody ever brings up those examples. Anthony Quinn is not a Greek kid.
No.
Zorba the Greek is a Greek kid.
Anthony Quinn is not a Mexican name.
It's not a Mexican name. He's a Mexican guy. And he's not
an Irish
a Greek kid.
Yeah, that
what
sounds
is he?
Irish.
Do we know what he is?
He's Hispanic. He was pretending to be white.
Yeah, he was Hispanic pretending to be white.
Right.
The best kind of Hispanic.
So he's Louis C.K.
All right, Louis C.K.'s a fucking Mexican, and that's my fucking race.
He says he's Mexican.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, Louis C.K. says he's Mexican. Then you look at him, you go, guy, I don't care where your parents were born, you're white.
Louis back, baby.
Yeah.
He is back.
And he's selling tickets.
Get your raincoats ready. Yeah.
I love Louis.
Well, that was what's funny is like I was at the cellar the other day when he came by, and I like just
he came by.
He just came by to say what's up to
He didn't go on stage.
to a few comics, and like I made the joke that, oh man, once he walked in, women were like jumping out of the way, screaming, covering their ears and eyes, and I was like, no, actually, everybody asked him for a picture.
Yeah, he's great.
Every
Everybody
single
loves
person.
him. People, I was at a show once when he was on. He did great, and then the article, the New York Post, they're like, the audience left and were outraged. One woman left and asked for her money back, and the management said no.
Right.
They were like, no, you can't get your money back. We've told you. So it's one person left and wanted their money back, but the article was everybody left. It was like, no, he fucking annihilated.
Right.
People loved him. And that's just what it is.
Well, that's what's frustrating about the media is they have so much power because they can steer the ship, right? So even in this, in the Newsboys strike, you got all these papers that these guys have so much reach, and they're printing stories about these kids, like, you know, basically unwanted sexual advances on women on the street. They're like, you know, they're a bunch of fucking hooligans, and they were like swindling the numbers to where it was like it was barely any of them, right? Meanwhile, they had 5,000 kids at Irving Hall during one of their like speeches, and they had local politicians, they had lawyers, they had all this stuff giving almost like commencement speeches for these kids, being like, you guys are doing the right thing. It's power to the people, whatever. And the media, I think it dropped 65%. Like they were selling 350,000 papers per day, and it dropped to about like 140 or 120,000.
That hits business hard.
Yeah. So I mean, and not to mention that gets me into like the conspiracy shit with I think it's Hearst or
about the weed, right?
About weed, yeah. So the reason, supposedly, this is kind of unfounded. William Randolph Hearst. The reason why weed was demonized in reefer madness and all that stuff is because, and they didn't want hemp to be part of our culture, even though it's like literally the greatest thing that we grow in this country, and it could help quite a bit. He didn't want to change over his printing presses because they were going to change from tree paper to hemp paper, and he didn't want to change over his printing presses because he would have taken too much of a loss. Yeah,
and I heard that it was another part is like weed was primarily amongst like jazz singers who are primarily black, and alcohol was favored by whites, so they made one illegal, the black thing, right, and then the white thing, alcohol, which kills way more people, legal. So it's all conditioned bullshit.
And it also, you know, whether you believe this or not, weed tends to make you think about things a little deeper, and it kind of expands your mind a little bit. And makes you think like, wait, why does this person have any hold over me? Why is there authority figures telling me what I can put into my fucking body? So once people were kind of smoking weed and opening up their minds to that perspective, they knew they had to shut the book on it quick.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, like I said before, to bring up the point again, how it was able to be maligned for so long.
And still.
Yeah, and still.
You got Joe Biden, a fucking California raisin with white hair, up on a podium being like, there's no real evidence that it helps medically. It's like, have you not watched Vice in the last 10 years? Yeah. There was a girl named Charlotte who was having like 300 seizures per month, developed a low THC, if any, CBD oil that made her, I think she's like seizure free for years.
Yeah.
Like it's like crazy.
Not until I fuck her.
To say, to say it has no medicinal properties is like that you're just like so transparently lying now.
Right.
You say that. Yeah.
I actually wouldn't mind if a politician was like, listen, like for weed to be widespread legal, we got to wait for the Pfizers and you know, William or Philip Morris to kind of change their business model so they can have the primary cut of weed. Like they're going to be the conglomerates that control marijuana. So we as a government have to wait for them to get their business affairs in order, because that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Right.
Like they're waiting for these big businesses to get their shit together, and it's crazy that they haven't already.
Right. Yeah. I know. I agree.
I mean, they sorry to go off on a tangent.
No, get emotional.
But there's like there are people, you know,
there's nothing more passionate. There's not one topic Mike Cannon is more passionate about than weed,
which is crazy.
He's ready. He'll defend that thing to the tape.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. And I'm rage filled about it, which is like kind of an oxymoron. But like they extract, and by they I mean the pharmaceutical companies, they sometimes extract the healthy benefits of vegetables and stuff like that, and then sell them to the pharmaceutical companies. Like they take out the nutritional value of fucking vegetables and then push it on to somebody else.
Why would they do that?
Because they just want sick people.
Right.
They want people that aren't healthy. They want people that are relying on pills. I think it's a public mission statement by Pfizer that they want every adult over 18 to be on 2 to 3 pills for the rest of their life. Yeah. 2 to 3 different type of
They
thing.
make a lot of money, man. The pharmaceutical industry, you know, I'm not a conspiracy guy for the most part, but it's really true when it comes to the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
And that's their mission, is to like, get everybody on pills and to sell pills and push pills. And it's our whole country's, everyone's medicated. Everyone's medicated.
But because we can't hunt and gather our own food, what can we do? I mean,
you can look at Rogan. He's killing elk with his bare hands.
But you know, every time he kills an elk, I'm going like, he's not eating that 5 days a week. I mean, there's like, that's the one he's posting on Instagram, and then he's going to Outback Steakhouse the next 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just too much work to live in California and kill elk every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he might get like 1,000 pounds here and there and freeze it.
He could do that.
Could do that.
But,
So the special comes out. Where can people find you?
So YouTube, Mike Cannon Comedy, that's the big thing. And like we said, we're doing a lot of things on our own right now. So it is kind of the mission statement where we rely on people who listen to really spread the word, because we don't have the big money of networks and stuff like that. We can't force feed you guys shit. But this is something that I did on my own with Mike Lavin, the homeless pimp who you guys work with.
Yeah, dude.
He shot and edited the entire thing. He's so goddamn talented.
Hell yeah.
And I pitched this idea, which is kind of based on how I got into The Cellar, which you were involved in.
Yeah.
Because I was here eating dinner with Chris and his daughter, and you were about to open for Colin Quinn, the great Colin Quinn, and his fucking ventricle failed.
I know.
He had a heart attack, and Liz, the manager, turned to me and goes, can you do 30 minutes? Do you want to do 30 minutes? And I was coming fresh off a panic attack from performing in Long Island all weekend.
Yeah.
And I almost said no. I said yes. Chris and Voss went up first, did 100% new material, either based off of you wanting to help me or you truly don't care.
Yeah. I don't know, probably a mix
I
of
didn't even
both.
remember that night.
And then I threw every fastball I have, every A joke that I've ever written, had a great set, sent that tape to Esty, and 2 months later I got more auditions.
Got more auditions. Yeah, I remember that night because somebody, I think maybe it was you, somebody was watching my daughter in the next room, and I just felt like, I was like, she's being a problem, so just get off stage.
Dude, that night, I'll never forget this, because Delilah is the cutest, funniest kid on earth. She's so great.
Thank you.
And I remember saying something to her, because she was like putting herself in danger. She kept sliding. Yeah, she kept sliding down the booth and like almost like coming a hair from like crushing
like
the back of her head.
sticking out of the floor that was getting through her head.
You know, it's horrifying with kids because they just don't realize. And I told her, I was like, Delilah, please, like, you know, sit or whatever. And she goes, she took a bite of a mott stick and then put the rest out on my cheek like it was a cigar. And then dragged it down my cheek and just goes, and like Jadakiss laughed in my face.
It's just what it is. Yeah.
Mike Cannon, you guys, you got to go watch this special. It's dropping. It's out now if you're listening to this. So go check it out. Mike is an absolutely hysterical comedian talking about, like, if you want to have fun and have a good time and you want to laugh with whoever you're hanging out with, go watch Mike Cannon, dude.
Cannon.
I mean, he's so fun to watch. And when I watch you, it's just a good time.
I appreciate it.
I feel like I'm watching somebody who's like talented and fun.
Having fun.
Which is nice.
A rarity.
Which is rare.
You're evocative, you're physical, you know, you're energetic.
Yeah.
And it's and listen to his podcast.
Irish Goodbye podcast.
Irish Goodbye.
All right, that's our episode, right?
Thanks for having me,
Thank you,
guys.
Mike. Go get that special. What's it called?
Life Begins.
Life Begins with Mike Cannon.
Huh?